Hey guys, welcome back to a new video, and you've seen the video where I handle this axe, and now I'm going to be making a sheath for it. Just out of some synthetic leather, because I haven't got any real stuff. If you have got real leather, even better, but I've only got synthetic leather, so I'll be using that. So stay tuned and hopefully we can make a nice sheath.
The first thing I'm going to do is just lie the axe, the bit I want to cover, which is everything up to the handle, and then I'm going to have a fastener that goes all the way around the back. That's my design anyway. So I'm just going to lie the axe flat, the axe head flat on the pleather. Just going to take a knife, then score all the way around it. Not cut, just score. If you cut it at this point, you'll be confused later on. Right, now that's all nicely scored in. I don't know where you can see that, but you probably can't at all. But there's a little score line that follows the axe all the way around. So now I've got a nice little line that I can follow and make me a perfect template for this. But I'm not going to do that exactly. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take a vernier caliper and just run about 1 centimetre around the outside. Centimetre, 2 centimetres, something like that. So I've got something that can actually grip the pleather once it's done, because you need to have somewhere to stitch or rivet or however you're going to fasten it. You just need extra. Take what you need, then add extra, I think is the general term. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and copy this again onto another one and then repeat the process.
Now I line up the axe head with my score lines. Everything looks good. It looks like I'll have enough room pretty much everywhere. I might just shift that a tad forward, just so I have enough room everywhere to sew or stitch or however I decide. I don't really plan my projects through. But yeah, that looks good. So all I'm going to do, chuck this on the pleather again, copy it exactly. Then I'll have 2 exact ones. Then all I have to do is round the leather off and make it look a bit nicer. And yeah, then I have to figure out how I'm going to attach a strap to it. So yeah, that's the plan.
Now that I've got my 2, all I'm going to do, run my knife around the edge. Just trim everything off and make sure everything's to size. Only reason I'm doing this is so that the larger one, which was the second one I cut out, is still to the size, because I know that if you make a template of a template, it only gets worse. So it's the copy of a copy type system. So you just run your knife around, make sure they're both to size, because everything will get larger otherwise. Okay, that's quite a rough cut, but everything does seem to be to size, and I can always sort it out later. So yeah, now I've got 2 pieces that are relatively the same size. Now what I'm going to do, not break anything, hopefully. You position them either side of your axe and just see if everything fits. You know, you just have a look, see if everything's all right. Everything does seem to be all right, actually. I mean, no need to sound surprised, but yeah, everything's all right. So I might just shift it down a bit though. Yeah, like I was going to. Yeah, everything looks all right. So now I'm going to move on to making the holes for stitching, and that's how I've decided I'm going to do it, because I've found some really thin paracord type stuff that you get for kind of kiddies kits. You know, oh, you make this for Christmas and all that. And I found that, and it's actually really tough stuff, so I'm going to use it for stitching this. So yeah, let's jump straight into it. Okay, so I found a little needle file that I'm going to use, and you've just got to gently try and create a little notch with this. Right, now all I've got to do is remove the little dent in the side that the notch is made. Okay, that looks about done. Now that's what my leather working tool looks like at the moment. So I can just use it as a little prong to turn around and make equal spacings with it. The distance will be about 5mm because it's a 5mm spanner. But yeah, so let's get straight into marking out where they're going to go.
So I've used my little tool here to go around and mark little holes of where I want all my stitching to go. I think this turned out really well, actually, much better than I was expecting. But yeah, now I've got all these little holes. All I'm going to do is go around with a punch. I haven't got a leather punch or anything like that, so no fancy tools here, or really any decent tools. But yeah, I'm going to go along, see what I can scavenge, see what I can come up with, and try and use my ingenuity to come up with a way to punch holes in this leather, leave a nice little finish, and yeah, let's see how it goes. Very happy I found this. Forgot I had it. This is a carpenter's awl. Basically, it's for marking holes or scribing holes or really anything. It's just a really sharp point that I forgot I had from my old carpentry days when I used to enjoy carpentry, but now I'm a metal boy. Yeah, so now I'm just going to use this to punch holes in it, and yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I got about halfway down here when I realised the leather below is moving far too much for it to be stable enough for me to punch with the awl here. So I've just gone and grabbed a little bit of super glue, put it in the middle so it won't move as much.
Okay, so when hammering with your awl, I've just got a hammer with sand in it. I don't know what it's called, a lump hammer possibly, or a soft hat mallet or something. Anyway, it's very important that you don't have a metal surface, because if it was metal I'd be using the back of my vise here, or an anvil of a vise if this one had one. But because this is an awl and the tip is incredibly fragile, if I did hit it and it went all the way through the leather and hit this with some force, it'd shatter. So I don't want to do that. So I've just got a nice bit of 12mm plywood to just absorb a little bit of that impact. So if it sticks in the wood, you know it's gone all the way through. My awl isn't really built for this kind of impact, and I hope it doesn't shatter before I finish all of this. But as you can see, I've got a nice set of holes there which have gone all the way through, so I can probably stitch through that, which is pretty good at the moment. So I'm just going to do that with the rest of them, and yeah, that should be good. You can also see that it's made a nice couple of holes in my plywood, so definitely works, this method. Not the best, I'm not saying it's the best, but it does work, which is all I'm after, really. Okay, so I've punched all the holes on this side, but as you can see on the other side, not all the holes have quite gone through, so I'm just going to repeat the same process, except on the other side. All of the holes have been at least marked by the awl, so I'm just going to repeat it, and then we'll have nice clean holes to work with. So I'm just going to do that quickly off camera. Okay guys, I've just realised I made a bit of a mistake in my designing, and a real rookie mistake. I realised that the axe needs to have enough room to slide in and out, so the entire sheath needs to be pretty much the width of the widest part, and I hadn't done that. So if I did put it in, I'd never be able to get it out. And if I took it out, I'd never be able to get it back in. So to fix that, what I've done is I've changed the way it's going to go in. It's going to go in from the bottom, so I'm going to sew the top and the sides, and then leave the bottom. Well, I've actually just cut the bottom off. So now it's just going to be the bottom that you can slide it on and off, and there'll be still a hook on the back that's going to keep it there via pressure. So that's the only change in design. Other than that, it should still be alright. Before I started marking the holes for where all the stitching was going to go, I realised I needed a tool that would mark it out equally. I needed an equal distance between each stitch hole. So I found this little 5mm spanner that I got from a little set a while ago, but the set's since gone lost, and I thought, well, might as well turn this into a little leather making tool. So the only plan is to shorten the distance between here and here, so just thin down the steel, and the same on this side. I'll create a little notch, and it'll create two little prongs that I can then use to punch holes in the leather. Well, not punch, but mark holes in the leather. So that's the plan. I'm just going to chuck it in the vise, give it a squeeze. Then you just repeat the process with this bit here, except I'm gonna need a finer file for this. So I gotta go
okay,
find
guys, this
one.
is how it looks after stitching. I think it looks really good actually. It turned out really nicely, much better than I was expecting. So slides on quite nicely to the axe. I've split the super glue and all, so it's just a nice comfortable sheath at the moment. But the only problem I'm having is when you put the axe in, there's nothing keeping it on. So I need to make a fastener that either comes around here or around here. I'd like to make one going around here, but it depends on how much, pleather I've got left. So I'll probably end up making one that goes around here, just to secure it. So yeah, I'm going to have a quick think about the design, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. I went and had a bit of a rummage around, and I found this, which is really handy. It's a little drawstring tightener and some... I didn't need you or anything. And just some elastic. So I'm going to use this hopefully to create a little drawstring system like you would on a rucksack or something, just to keep it tight. And other than that, all I'm going to be doing, I've just cut a little bit of pleather. I'm going to be securing one end with sewing like I would, and then the other end I'm going to have this drawstring thing, and more on that when I actually get into doing it.
Alright guys, now that I've marked everything out with my little leatherworking tool, this one, I'm going to go back to the same process as before with the awl and the hammer. You just bosh, take it out, next one, bosh. I'm using a softer wood this time than ply. I'm using pine, so that it definitely sticks in a lot more and there isn't as much pressure going onto my awl. So, oh. Right, now that's done. I've got all my holes, as you can probably see. There's all my holes, all my perforations, or whatever you want to call them. They will marry up quite nicely with those. Yeah, this should be reasonably easy to do. Theoretically, I should have done this before sewing all this together. It would have been much easier for me, but I haven't done that, so just gonna have to make do, really. So, gonna do the same thing as before, just stitch it with this paracord. Going to do it off camera again because it's boring and takes me forever to do. It took me an evening to do last time, so yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and get on with it.
Okay, so that's the stitching done here. I think it looks a bit rough, but it's there. I can always tidy that, tidy that bit up, melt it, squash it. I can do all that gubbins later. But yeah, it's alright. This comes about halfway up like the other one does, so that's just a point that makes it a bit neater. It's coming together quite nicely at the moment, actually. So yeah, now I just have to think about how I'm going to attach this, whatever I called that earlier, I've forgotten now. But yeah, I'm going to have a think about it, then I'll probably show you at some point, maybe.
Guys, this is pretty much the finished product. I'm just going to cut these down a bit, but other than that, this is basically it. I've threaded those through. The works pretty well. It's a little bit loose, but that's not really much of a problem. You know, if I shake it, it doesn't come off, which is all I'm really interested in. It does move a bit up and down and a little bit side to side. Nothing much though, so all I have to do is cut these down and that's the sheath finished. I think it looks quite nice. It's a nice attractive sheath. Looks interesting. But that's not it for the video yet. I'm just going to do a few little more accessories, things you can do to your hatchet just to make it a little bit more easier to work with and make it yours, really, so that everything about it is you've done it, and it works a lot better than it used to, is all I'm really trying to get at. So yeah, first thing we're going to do is drill a hole in the base of the axe handle to thread a lanyard through. The only reason you'd want to thread a lanyard is because when you're chopping or doing anything with your axe, you might want it there just in case your grip loosens and you accidentally try and throw the axe at your friend who's over there. So you just have that, and if you do let go of it, all it'll do is catch and then drop. It doesn't kill anyone, which is the main thing. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and start doing that. When drilling a hole, the first thing to consider is what size drill bit you're going to use. And I'm going to be using the same elastic stuff that I use for the locking mechanism on the sheath. So I don't know quite what size it is, but the only thing I do know is what's bigger than it. And I'm going to be using a 7mm drill bit, which is bigger than this. This looks to be about 5mm. So this should fit quite nicely in it. Second thing to consider, how you're going to set up your area, because the only reason you do this first is so you can go to the tool shed, get everything, then come back, then think about how you're going to set it up. I've put it on this piece of ply which I was using to stamp everything on. I've got a piece of waste wood clamped on so that I don't damage the wood that I've spent so much time in varnishing and things. And I've left a little bit of space over the edge so I don't drill into my work surface. So you're just going to put it in your hand drill. Not going to bother using my pillar drill for this because I don't really feel like it, and it's all the way over there and I'd have to transport it and stuff. So make sure your drill is spinning in the right direction, because there's nothing funnier than drilling backwards. Alright, so you're just going to pick an area that's quite sturdy. You don't want really for it to affect your grip too much. It has to be near the bottom. I'm going to choose about here on mine, about halfway down this triangular bit at the bottom. Okay, third thing to consider. When you put pressure here, what's going to happen? So always have a quick test run. Pull it. As you can see, a lot of my stuff's going to move. So I'm going to do, go and get something heavy, put it at the back. Now, when I put pressure on it, nothing happens. So we can get our drill bit, aim it where we want to, and then start it up. Right, now that's done. Now we can thread the lanyard through. As you can see, nice clean hole because I sharpened my drill bit beforehand. Now, the only thing I do have to do is remove all the swarf, the shaking of the drill bit, because the drill bit I used was quite old, and where the chuck meets it, it's scratched it quite a lot, so it does shake a bit. So, as you can see, that's reflected in the work. It's a little bit all over the shop, so I'm just going to get some sandpaper, rub that over, maybe even countersink it with a 9mm drill bit or something like that. But yeah, nothing much. I'll just polish it up a bit, make it look nice, and then thread the lanyard through. I've sanded it all down so it looks nice, but it's not the same colour as the rest of the handle, which has boiled linseed oil on it. So I'm just going to do the same thing, just get my boiled linseed oil, get a bit of cloth, and cover the areas that weren't covered before. And maybe I'll even give the whole thing a coat, actually. That's probably an idea. Give it a double coat just to reinforce it and really get it into the grain. So that's what I'm going to do. If any of you have ever smelt boiled linseed oil before, you know what I'm smelling right now. Oh, and it is nice. So with boiled linseed oil, it's very important to get an even coating so it all looks the same colour. Because if not, you'll get a really weird effect. You'll have some bits are lighter, some bits are darker, some bits are kind of yellowy and golden, some bits are dark, and it's not all that. You just want a nice even coating, so just constantly keep rubbing it. It's quite good, this stuff, because it's better than olive oil and it's cheaper, which is nice. Olive oil is about £8 a bottle, this is about £6 a bottle. Right, now that is the whole thing linseed oiled and pretty much done. So now we can get our lanyard, put it through, and just make a little double knot at the end.
This is the whole thing in all its glory. Ignore the mess I've made. But nice boiled linseed oil, lanyard, sheath, exactly what I wanted to achieve. Really proud of this. Took me most of Christmas to achieve, so that's why I haven't had too many videos. It's been mainly on this and another project I have coming up. This should be out in a week or two. So yeah, well, that's everything I have for this video. If you liked it, then please subscribe and like the video and comment anything else you want me to do. If you like me doing axe stuff, then I might do more axe stuff. If you like me not doing axe stuff, then I'll do more knife stuff, or whatever you want me to do. I'm here to do what you want me to do, except stripping and stuff. That's weird. But anyway, guys, I'll see you all in the next video.